welcome to Birds Breakdown. Eagles versus Bucs go down tonight. Talking top takeaways, matchups to watch, keys to victory. Joining me, my man Matty B at Philly Matt B7 on X, Twitter, whatever it is anymore. Does an amazing job talking sports with Matty B and all the Fighting's final and upcoming Flyers post-game shows. What's up, Matt?
What's going on, Dobbs? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Always a pleasure. Little G Griffith says, great team and go Birds. We have Daniel in the house saying sup. Today is about the Birds, and joining us, as always, the best of the best. He is at Shane Half NFL on X. He is Shane. What's going on, man?
What's up, Dives? It feels like the Eagles haven't played in like 2.5 years, and I'm just ready to watch a football game tonight.
Ain't that the truth, man? Like, let's quickly just go around the horn. Like, what's your vibe? Because it's been like a mini bye week here. They haven't played in over a week. Shane, like, what's your gut? What's your vibe? What's your feeling right now?
I feel good. The Eagles are going to be remarkably more healthy than they were on Thursday night. And, you know, we talked about some of the issues we saw against the Patriots, and I thought some of those got fixed on the fly against the Vikings, but it's hard to do that on a short week. And so I'm interested to see what kind of counter punches both Brian Johnson and Sean Desai have up their sleeve tonight.
Absolutely. What about you, Matt? Matty
I
B?
agree. I think
Are you confident?
Confident, maybe cautiously confident. You know, 2-0, but you wouldn't think it, but if you listen to all the people talking and all the things that you hear out there, because God forbid if they were actually 0-2, how long this little mini bye would have been. But I think the word of the week for me is rejuvenation. You know, let's let we've had some time off. Let's start over again. Starts tonight. The season begins in week 3.
Yeah, the Eagles are 2-0. Whoa, we got some echo there. The Eagles are 2-0, but like you look at the Dallas Cowboys, and like that's the talk of the town right now. Is could be worse. It could be worse. I'm just throwing that out there. But let's jump into top matchups to watch between these two teams. Here we go. All right, let's get into this. Top matchups to watch between the Eagles and the Bucs. This was a game coming into this week. I'm like, Eagles by 2 scores. But when you deep dive into the stats, things get a little more balanced, a little more even keel. And we're going to talk about it. Shane, lead us off, man. What's one of your biggest matchups to watch here between the Bucs?
Yeah, it's going to be Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts against Todd Bowles and his blitz. The Buccaneers, you know, we talk about how the pass offense hasn't looked great. Bill Belichick into Brian Flores into Todd Bowles is a heck of a way to start a season and feel badly about your offense. The Buccaneers are going to blitz. They blitz so far through the season at the 5th highest rate in the NFL on 35% of snaps. Now, I thought we saw against the Vikings, I thought we saw the Eagles start to have some answers to the blitz, and Hurts was 8 of 11 for 153 yards and a touchdown against the blitz against Minnesota. He's going to need to continue that against the Buccaneers because this is a team that's going to blitz. And a lot of times the Eagles ran against those looks from the Vikings, but the Buccaneers have a guy named Vita Vea, might have heard of him, that's going to line up right on top of Jason Kelce. He's going to make life hard in the running game. So Hurts and the offense need to do well, and they're going to need to be able to beat the blitz through the air.
Love it, man. What about you, Matty B? Do you have a matchup to watch?
I do, and it's a surprising matchup that I'm surprised that I'm talking about, and that would be the resurgence of one Mr. Baker Mayfield against a depleted. Maybe not. They're back. They got Blankenship and we got Bradbury back tonight, but we're down Avonte Maddox. The secondary was a problem question going into the season. So how is the word rejuvenated Baker Mayfield stack up against that Eagles secondary? What's the secret here? And how do we get him off kilter? I mean, he hasn't been a game breaker, but he's been very effective, and he hasn't turned the football over. So Eagles have forced 6 turnovers through 2 weeks. Does that trend continue tonight? I think it has to if the Eagles want to win this game.
I love that one. Yeah, That's a good one, and that kind of leads into my matchup to watch. I'm looking at the Eagles D-line versus the Bucs O-line. Arguably the most fascinating heavyweight battle to watch in this one is Josh Sweat versus Tristan Wirfs. I think that's going to be a great battle. But when you go beyond that, like let's say that's a wash. This is where things get, I think, really interesting for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially. The Bucs offensive line has not been good through 2 games. They are 26th in pass block win rate at 48%. The Eagles are 15th best in pass rush win rate. I just really, truly expect the Eagles' interior defensive line to exploit a weak Bucs offensive line, especially on the interior there, man. Like you talk about the Eagles, man. There are 3 interior defensive linemen ranked in the top 20 when it comes to pass rush win rate. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox. And that kind of goes off of what you just said, man, to be like Baker Mayfield has been absolutely elite when it comes to late down EPA, 5th best in the league. And I think the Eagles pass rush, forcing the Bucs into less manageable 3rd downs, I think will be absolutely vital for an Eagles victory tonight. That's what I'm watching. Does anybody else have any other matchups to watch? I've got a couple.
It'll be interesting to watch how the Buccaneers do in the red zone. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, punching the ball into the end zone in the red zone at only 33%. That ranks 30th in the NFL. On the flip side, the Eagles defense has allowed a touchdown on 75% of red zone trips, which is tied for 27th in the NFL. So this is sort of like it's not the whole like unstoppable force, immovable object. It's whatever the opposite of that is. It's a really bad red zone offense against a really bad red zone defense. Somebody's got to do good tonight. Hopefully it'll be the Eagles.
No Shaq Barrett. Is that a thing? I did miss that.
I haven't been on Twitter since the kids got home from school, so I'm not sure.
I just got home from work, so I'm scrambling here to look this up.
I'll find out for you.
All right, Shane, you're on it. That's a really good one. Obviously, like my biggest matchup to watch, and it's kind of a cop-out, but that's how I usually roll with this thing. Brian Johnson versus himself. That's a huge thing. Like the Eagles have not been themselves over the last couple of weeks here, man. The Eagles, we saw, had a huge increase in 12 personnel in week 2. What I don't like, though, is a lack of motion in this Eagles offense. I want to see more motion. Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, the middle of the field. There's been a lot of question marks about this Eagles offense, and it really has me puzzled. And you look at kind of how the Eagles offense matches up against the Bucs, man. I think, like Shane said, the Bucs are going to attack Jalen Hurts. That should leave things open up. That should give A.J. Brown a lot of opportunities on the boundary to get downfield for Jalen Hurts. But it's not going to be easy. The Bucs pass defense is kind of good. But I want you to explain this one, Shane, because like when you look at their DVOA, they're 6th best in the league, but it's not as easy as that. Like numbers sometimes lie. And I'm not necessarily sold because they've got their major cornerback, I think, out for this game. Carlton Davis, I think his name is. He's a big cornerback for them. And I look at A.J. Brown having a huge game in this one. I expect the Bucs defense to stack the box, try and take out the Eagles' heavy zone rushing attack. Does Brian Johnson go heavy with the pass? I think it's going to piss off a lot of Eagles fans, but I think this is probably the game where you're going to see Jalen Hurts get the ball out really fast. We'll see what happens. You look at that second quarter last week against the Vikings, kind of Brian Johnson got away from himself and just handed off the ball, and the Eagles offensive line did what they do best and cement their will against an inferior defensive line. So Brian Johnson versus himself, this Eagles offense continues to kind of find its own identity. I don't think it's a mystery. I think it is the offensive line, and I'm curious to see what Brian Johnson has against a Bucs defense that, let's be real, Jalen Hurts, this is his redemption game. We'll get into that in a little bit. But anybody else have any other matchups?
I got one.
Real quick, Shaq Barrett update. I don't see him listed on the injury report. Kalijah Cansey's out. Cody
Okay.
Mock, Vita Vea, Devin White, Carlton Davis are all questionable, but I don't see Shaq Barrett anywhere. So I might be missing it. But as far as I know, he's playing.
Okay.
My takeaway, my final one, is kind of on the lines of what you were talking about, Dives, but I'm going to go a little bit more existential with it. AJ Brown versus Jalen Hurts. Is that going to boil over, or have we seen the last of that little sideline shenanigan? Is that going to be an issue? And how does that affect the other wide receivers in that room? They're going to start getting mad when AJ Brown's getting force fed. And where's Devontae Smith's touches? Where's Dallas Goedert's touches? So what is the after effect or the overall effect of what happened on primetime television last week?
I have a take on that. Can I just give it now?
Yeah.
It's Devontae Smith looking straight at AJ Brown saying, "Look at me. I'm the captain now." We all saw this coming. Devontae Smith is here. His rise has started in 2023. It's been starting. I think he's just an amazing wide receiver. And I as we talked about 1,000 times on these shows, the trajectory of Devontae Smith in this offense is just going to get better and better and better. Shane, take? Do you have a take, Shane?
Oh, you said yeah, never mind. You said Shane take, and I was waiting on you to finish the sentence there. I think the guys can coexist. At this point in time, I still think AJ Brown's the better receiver, but Devontae Smith is on that trajectory, and I think they bring you different things. And I think they should both be valuable tonight because the Buccaneers love to play base 3-4. They love to stack boxes. To me, this would be a big game where I try to go empty a lot. Your backs are bad in pass protection anyways. Go empty, and they did that a lot last year, trying to get Devontae Smith in the slot out of empty to isolate him on linebackers and safeties. So I think you do that. You take your shots to A.J. Brown. They can all be happy. Let's just go win by 30.
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts said it best. Winning is all that matters. And the level of competitiveness between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts is as elite as it gets, 11 out of 10. So I'm good with it. Let's just go to some comments, and then we will break down our top 5 keys to victory for the Eagles. Ahmed says Kelsey owns nose tackles, Vita Vea, Dexter Lawrence. He owns them all. Devin's in the house saying the writing's on the wall for Brown to have his breakout game of the season. I absolutely agree with that. Hassan Reddick versus himself, man. Hassan kind of needs to get his season going here. He's been kind of quiet.
You guys, do you know how many sacks Hassan Reddick had in the first 2 weeks last year?
Oh man, I know he got going late in the season. How many?
0.
I had 4.
He's exactly where he was at this time last year, albeit with a brace on his thumb. So I'm not worried about Hassan Reddick. I think he's going to get there.
Me too. Quinn says agreed. I want to see more motion, more eye candy for opposing defenses. Amoni says 57-10 Eagles. We'll get to our score predictions in a little bit. Devin says Bradbury versus Godwin. That is going to be a great battle to watch for sure, especially with Bradbury playing more nickel tonight. We'll get into that very soon. Do you think this is the game our passing game will start rolling? Absolutely. And then Jeremy says, absolutely not Vita Vea destroying Kelsey when we play them. All right, let's get into our top 5 keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles. Matty B, lead us off, man.
Okay, my number 5. I'm going to go 5-1. Is that okay? Or are you going to do 1-5? How do you guys do this?
No, we don't know. We've never done this before. Why don't you just give us our 5?
Yeah, I didn't put mine in any order, so
I always put my stuff in order. I used to be a soldier. That's part of my lifestyle. All right, number 5. Number 5. I need to see an Eagles touchdown on their first offensive possession. Now, I don't need to see going down the field, stalling for a 22-yard field goal. No, I need to see the ball in the end zone on that first offensive touch. I've had enough of the field goal stuff. My number 4 is, I mentioned this already, you guys have mentioned this, keep Baker Mayfield off balance and pressure him. Revert him back to the Baker Mayfield that we all know and love. Number 3, DeAndre Swift. Awesome game last week, got me a ton of fantasy points, but I think maybe the Bucs might be keen on him, maybe some play action, maybe kind of keep the Bucs off balance themselves by not giving the ball to DeAndre Swift, but act like they're going to give the ball to him. So kind of work him into the offense in any way possible, It doesn't necessarily mean him touching the football all the time. And my number 2, Eagles coordinators continue to make those in-game adjustments. It's not a perfect thing. These are brand new coordinators that are learning as they go. They're building it in flight, as they say, but continue to make those in-game adjustments because that's how you succeed. And my number 1 key to victory, Jalen friggin' Hurts. I need to see the 2022 version of Jalen Hurts. I need to see it, and I need to see it bad. So there's my number 1 key to victory.
All right. Does that look good for you? Will the real Jalen Hurts please stand up? Improvements from the coordinators, DeAndre Swift, maybe being more of a decoy.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, keeping him off balance, and then come out strong out the gate. That is Matty B's top 5 keys to victory. Go ahead, Shane. What's yours?
I'll go number 5 is don't give up explosive plays. I'm not sold the Buccaneers are a good offense or that Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, so don't make it easy and give up chunk plays. Number 4, it's time to abandon the QB option game. It hasn't worked this year. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to take contact, which I'm fine with. I don't want him taking a lot of contact. But even when it was working in 2021, Todd Bowles had the answer. They have linebacker speed. Get rid of the QB option game. Number 3 is pressure Baker Mayfield. Now, that's tricky because Baker Mayfield's been good under pressure this year, but I'd still rather him be under pressure. I'm not talking blitzing a lot, but hit him early, flush him out of the pocket. He's not the most athletic guy. He'll scramble around, but he's not going to kill you on the ground. Number 4, get Dallas Goedert involved. Beating the blitz. They started doing that last week. Quick hitch routes, curl routes to Goddard over the middle. Also to beat zone coverage. The Buccaneers run a ton of zone coverage. The 5th highest rate in the NFL so far this year. Dallas Goedert on those sail routes, those corner routes. Let's use him a lot, get him involved. And then number 1, if this is a game to major and empty. I mentioned it earlier. The Buccaneers like to go base 3-4. They like to stack the box. This is not a stubbornly run it into those stacked box counts. This is a spread and shred game for the Eagles offense. Get the ball out quick and stretch the field horizontally.
All right. There is Shane and his 5 keys to victory, spread and shred. I think that's the name of your new podcast.
Spread and shred. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty
that
nice.
a lot.
Dallas Goedert, getting him more involved. Pressure Baker Mayfield, as Matty B said. Less QB options, man. Tired of these design runs from Jalen Hurts, man. I like it, but not as much. No explosive plays given up by the Eagles defense. I'll go into my 5 real quick. My number 5, handle Vita Vea. Arguably the toughest of them all tonight is handling nose tackle Vita Vea, man. The Eagles' interior O-line will definitely be tested. He's going to try and slow down the Eagles' rushing attack. The good news is the Eagles' run block win rate through 2 weeks is literally the best in the NFL at 78%. Jamel Dean is my number 4. Attack Jamel Dean. This is a guy that's been truly a weak point for the Bucs defense. You look at this guy, according to Pro Football Focus, through the first 2 weeks of the season, he's graded as one of the worst cornerbacks in the NFL. He's allowed 8 receptions on 11 targets, routinely out of position in coverage. Carlton Davis, I think he's still a game-time decision. Does anybody have any update on that? Shane, can you give me an update on Carlton Davis?
The injury report on their website just says that he's questionable to play.
Okay, so he was a game-time decision, but I would like to see Brian Johnson target Jamel Dean in coverage. That's my number 4. Number 3 is Jalen Carter and his introduction to Monday Night Football, man. Carter leads all interior defensive linemen this season with 11 quarterback pressures and 10 hurries on 59 pass rush snaps. You look at this matchup with Jalen Carter and this Buccaneers interior offensive line, man. I think this guy's going to have a huge game. All 3 interior offensive linemen for the Bucs have PFF grades below 60 the first 2 weeks of the season. This is the world's introduction, or I guess the casuals' introduction to Jalen Carter, man. The guy has been just a freak. Number 2, attack Baker Mayfield. No question here. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs offense has surprised a lot of people. And what I'm most impressed with this Bucs offense is their ability to protect the football. They've yet to turn over the ball, and I think that ends tonight here with an elite Eagles pass rush. And like you said, my number one, the Jalen Hurts redemption game is tonight. That's my number one. Jalen Hurts hasn't had multiple passing touchdowns or over 200 yards in his first 2 games. I think it's time for Jalen Hurts to kind of get in sync with this offense. I expect him to put a ton of pressure on Tampa's offense to keep pace. And like Shane said, spread and shred, baby. Let's freaking go. All right. So those are our 5 keys, Eagles keys to victory. Let's get to some comments before we get into score predictions and player of the game predictions. Let's go. Baker Mayfield equals Ryan Fitzmagic. Okay. Jeremy says, forget quarterback option. Jeremy says, another take. We need press corners. Forget playing soft zone crap. This way our D-line can get home. I like it a lot. Although I don't see that going away. Mark says, go Birds. Hope we have a good night with the terrible weather the last 3 days. Yeah. Jeremy says, guys, all great takes, quality stuff. Enjoying the 620s here in Japan. Oh, what's up, Japan? Oh, my God. That's great. Eyes barely open, but pumped. Thanks for joining, Jeremy. It means everything.
If you told me 2 years ago someone in Japan would be watching me live on YouTube talk about an Eagles game, I would have called you crazy. That's awesome.
I love it. Message, I want to see some man coverage with Slay and Job on the outside. You're going to see a lot of Josh Job on the outside today for sure.
The Eagles run a lot of man coverage. They're like the second lowest zone rate in the NFL right now through 2 weeks. So they're running a lot of man coverage.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our score predictions and player of the game predictions. Matty B, lead us off, man. You're up.
Yeah, so, with all the things that I said, I don't think the Eagles are going to blow the top off of this. I think they're going to do just enough to win. I like a 21-17 Eagles victory tonight. I think that Jalen Hurts has that redemption tour. I think he's very effective with the football. But I don't think they're going to blow the top off this game. So I like Eagles 21-17. And how the hell could I not go with anybody but Jalen Hurts after all my Jalen Hurts posturing in this show? So Jalen Hurts is my player of the game.
Wow, you heard it here first on Edge of Philly Sports. Matty B going Jalen Hurts as his player of the game. Quentin says 27-24, ... Quentin always bringing the Debbie Downer take. Shane, what's your score prediction and player of the game prediction?
Yeah, see, I was going to take Eagles at 24-17, but I have the Eagles -5, so they're definitely going to win by 4 or 3. So just to get that last knife between the ribs on me for the weekend. So I will go 24-21 Eagles. Eagles win, but they don't cover, and I lose my money.
Man, that's interesting. Like, you go back to our Birds of the Roundtable show. I'm right there with you, Shane. I've been backing up the chains a little bit. The more I've kind of looked into this Bucs team, the more I definitely kind of have been pumping the brakes. Like, I think I had this Eagles win by like 10 or 11 points last week. And I don't feel that way. I do not feel that way right now. Amit says I want to see more innovative stuff from Sean Desai, like quarter personnel from the Eagles defense. Maybe time to give Sidney Brown reps. Dude, I could not agree more, man.
If you want to catch me confident, you catch me on a Tuesday show after I've done the work, maybe Wednesday. You want to catch me doubting myself, get me on a pregame show when I'm starting to get nervous about the game. So you should probably trust my Tuesday predictions more. Because the closer we get to game time, the more that stuff goes out the window, and I just start getting nervous.
Yeah, that's true. Mark says 41-18. I'm in that range. I agree. I think it's going to be like a 4 to 6 point game. So give me, I will say, Eagles win 28-24, and it's going to be a barn burner. My player of the game is Jalen Carter. Again, the Bucs have not turned over the ball yet. Look for Jalen Carter and a pressure to be the difference that possibly forces Baker Mayfield to make an overthrow or an errant pass into the hands of one of the Eagles' defensive backs. So for me, Jalen Carter, his introduction to the NFL, man, is going to be a hell of a thing to watch, man. I can't wait. Philly Dogs in the house. What's going on, Philly Dogs? Says, blowout Eagles win, 31-7. Whew. I really like Joe. He misplayed that deep ball 11 days ago. Absolutely. That basically wraps it up, Matty B. I'll throw it to you, man. Final thoughts. Eagles versus Bucs.
Final thoughts are, you guys mentioned at the top of the show, this little mini buy stuff. I mean, what do we got? We got 3 1:00 Sunday games all season. I don't know how I like that, but obviously right off the bat, it's not too good because it seems like a lot of time between games. But it's great to be back. It's great to have the Eagles back. We need a win. We need a really clean win tonight. We just need to get back to where we know this team can be. And I hope maybe they'll drop a 70 burger on the Buccaneers, a la the Miami Dolphins there.
Make it 71.
Okay. But no, I need to see them win. And we got some Flyers hockey tonight, guys, too. Flyers Devils preseason kicking off. So it's all good. The Phillies are about to clinch. It's a great time to be a Philadelphia sports fan.
Yeah, October's the best, man. We are just a week or two from October. It's going to be so much content going down the next month or so. It's going to be nuts. Man, that Eagles-Dolphins matchup in Week 7 is going to be something. Right. Absolutely something. Holy cow, man. That might be game of the year with the Kelly Green jerseys and everything. That's going to be in Philly, right? That's going to be nuts. All right. Shane, plugs, final thoughts.
Yeah, you can follow me on X at ShaneHalfNFL. I'll be live tweeting clips from the game. I'll have all 22 content up on my YouTube channel, also at ShaneHalfNFL later this week, hopefully tomorrow if all 22 cooperates. And that's really it, man. I'm excited. This feels like week 1 to me. It's been so long since the Eagles have played. I just have the week 1 jitters all over again. I can't wait for kickoff.
Yeah. We have Mitch in the house. What's going on, Mitch? Jeremy, thanks for the comments, man. Thanks for joining from all the way in Japan. That's insane. Final thoughts, man. Let's see the Eagles exploit the middle area of the football field, man. I think they have one target in week 2. Not good enough. Dallas Goedert's one of the best in the NFL. I want to see him targeted often and early in this one. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to all the comments, all the people watching. Please give this video a like, help us out. Let our Eagles content growing as always. Expect tons of shorts. Expect biggest winners. Expect all the Eagles content. Starting at halftime, me and Shane will be doing top reactions, grades, reactions to Jalen Hurts, everything when at the start of halftime. And then my man, Matty B, will be doing post-game when the clock hits 0. I will probably be in bed sleeping. We'll see. I don't know. Depends on how the game goes. Hopefully we'll get a nice, easy victory. So, these games are brutal for me. But Mark says I'm facing A.J. Brown in fantasy, so he's going for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Mark, we appreciate your sacrifice.
Yeah. I had the Cowboys in my survivor pool. I'm not complaining that much. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that game hit a point. I had money on the Cowboys over 28.5 points. And when Arizona went up 28-13, I was like, well, either the Cowboys lose or I cash my bet. So it's kind of a win-win at this point.
Yeah. All right, guys, we are out. Again, thank you for watching. We'll see you at Halftime Live. It's going to be awesome. Halftime is one of my favorite shows where you're just trying to race against the clock before the third quarter starts. We'll see you then. And also for postgame, for Matty B, for Shane, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.